From here. Oh, hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Uh, guess it's time for the AC Campbell Altus Corner Sticky Situation Special. Let's get to it. For the next 2 weeks, the Altus Corner will feature four amazing ladies for the Sticky Situation Special. Stay tuned this week for when we talk to Forever Red and Sandra Nicole. And then next week when we talk to Shamor as well as Allison Grace with a cameo from Junior Press Simmons. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Author's Corner Sticky Situation Special with H.D. Campbell. As always, I'm your host, H.B. Campbell. What is a sticky situation, you ask? Well, it's an anthology written by some amazing ladies I had a chance to talk to and get to know within the past few weeks. Put together by Allison Grace and Julia Press Simmons, these ladies won. Like Don Cornelius said, it's going to be a stone gas, honey, but to stop from getting sued, it won't be full of love, peace, and soul. It'll be full of a lot of writing and beautiful ladies that put down the pen. So when we come back, here's who we have next. When the author's corner returns, we're going to have a chat with Forever Red. And then later, check out Sandra Nicole and check out her business acumen and more.
Have you seen The Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell? It's the best show you're not watching. Every week we have authors, editors, artists, and others from various industries. There are 3 ways to watch Author's Corner, primarily on our YouTube channel, HD Television, on our HD Television Facebook page, and on our media page at www.hdcampbellmedia.com. It's the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. Check it out weekly, and as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. And God bless you.
We're going to start the ball rolling with our chat with Forever Red. Forever Red, we had a lot of great conversations. I joked a lot, but she was serious on a lot of topics. So I'm not going to waste your time. Here's the interview. So I want to first talk to you about, I just want to jump right into it, the Velvet Trail in the
Yes.
Situations book. All right. First, before we even get into that, what inspired that story?
Reality, man. Like reality. You find so many people, they go out, it's working Women's Wednesdays or $2 Tuesdays, and people go hauling ass into the bar to get what they're going to get for $2 or get some working women. So, hey, it happens. It's a life story. Not my life, but somebody's.
Somebody's so before we get into any more about, let's go back to the beginning. What got you interested in writing in the first place?
That's actually a funny story, and I have 2 answers. Which do you want to hear? The interview answer or the truth?
I want to hear both.
All right. So my interview answer, because we are having an interview, my interview answer is I was in a place in my life where I just needed a release. So I couldn't figure out what that release could have been, so I picked up a pen. That's my interview answer. Now, the truth, and it's quite comical actually. I moved back. I used to live in Virginia. I moved back to South Carolina 10 years ago, and I was in a low place in my life. And I was going into a gas station one night, and I came out. There was a young man standing on the side of the gas station, and he said, "Hey, little mama, I'll sell you a bag that'll send you to Mars."
Ooh.
And I said, "Oh man, how much is it?" So, whoop whoop. And as I'm on this trip to Mars, I was like, dang man, I wonder if I could write a book. And I sat in my bathtub with a pen and a notebook, and I used the toilet as an ashtray, and I wrote all night long, and I just couldn't stop after that.
So
Right.
I love the other version. Yeah, I love that version. More detail. I truly understand. Trust me. You don't know where the creativity really comes from until you
Right.
actually. So yes.
I have on my I was about to say Sticky Fingers. That's a restaurant. I don't know if you know about it, but it's a barbecue restaurant. But I do have on my shirt representing, yes, yes,
Yes,
sticky
yes.
situations, not the fingers. Yeah. I don't know how to make more of me show on the camera.
Oh, I
So,
mean, no, that was fine. That was fine what you had right there. So no, you good. So no, that was awesome. So now what got you? Speaking of sticky situations, what got you hooked up with Junior Prince Simmons?
somebody recommended that I wrote in their anthology. Um, I don't know how people feel about name drops, so I'm not going to do that. But somebody that they have ties with Julia, and they told her, "Hey, have y'all tried to get Red involved?" Whoop whoop. And then the person that suggested me, she called me, and she was like, this is what I did, this is what I said, and I was like, well, hey, I'll do it, and that's how. And she's so great. I'm so glad I got entangled with her because she is an awesome person.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you jumping on me at the beginning of this interview, talking about how you know my name, keep my name out your mouth.
I
See,
didn't say that.
see everybody else that no, no, she didn't say that, y'all. But no, I was like thinking on it. But no, see, but no, seriously, your reputation as a writer sees you. So
Wow.
everybody's going to know you. So,
Thanks.
oh, you're so welcome. So, besides that, what are some of your other projects?
I am in the midst of I'm working. I haven't announced this as of yet, but I am going to. I just want to make sure my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. Once that is definitely handled, then I will be making my announcement. People often, very often, they talk about these silent moves, but yet the world knows how you're moving. So, um, and I'm normally that person, like, hey, let me tell the world because I get excited and I'm passionate about what I do. And so this time I am going to test the waters with these silent moves. And when the time is right, then it will be loud, very, very loud. Now, that's current. And as far as that, I also am working on a piece that I've been working on since 2013. It's not anywhere near finished. It's just a few words in, but I have to be in a certain mindset for this particular story because it's more fiction. I mean, it's more nonfiction than fiction. So I got to make sure my lies are right. But after that, that's the story that I'm taking down to Tyler Perry. I'm gonna mail it and I'm gonna take it too because I'm gonna be in his face like you better get this work.
All
So
right.
that's what I'm doing. I'm definitely not stagnant. I am working and creating and trying to make my mark by nook or by crook. These folks will know my name.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been picking on you since the beginning, but seriously though, you know, your name is out there. You do I mean, you don't know how, but your name is out there. You must do good work. You must write. People know you by your reputation.
That's
So,
awesome.
so I guess my question is you. I want you to think about this question though. Tell me about some of your past projects that you've written that make people even want to know you.
That would make people want to
No,
know
in other
me.
words, tell me about some of your past projects. Because that's what actually people. That's what people actually. Now, I'm glad this is taped. I guess what I'm trying to ask is your past projects. People know you by your past projects. What are some of your past projects?
Um, Well, I wrote a three-part series. It's I call it the Sleeping in Heaven series. It's Sleeping in Heaven, Waking in Hell is the first one. The second one is Sleep No More, and the third one is Blessed by the Fire. That is my very first series, my very first project. Um, those that did take the time out to read that, it was a very relatable story because oftentimes we as women, we get we fall in love with a person that we don't know exists. And what I mean by that is we fall in love with the love rather than the person. And in this particular series, there was a young lady, she found the man of her dreams, and he turned out to not be what she thought he was going to be. Now, the difference between that series and any other series along the lines of, fall in love, meet a guy, he's something that I thought he wasn't, is there is no difference. When I wrote that series, I wrote it from the heart. Granted, it's a lot of fiction, but it's enough reality in there for you to feel where the characters are coming from, not just read and understand it. It's a story that you as a man can relate to. It's a story that we as women can relate to. Definitely not for the kids, but it's written from everybody's perspective. So male and female, his and hers, her friend, his friend, everybody has a voice. So because everybody has a voice, it allows people to relate a little bit more or easier. That's that what I would say maybe put me on, if you will, just because it was so relatable. Um, One day, another author, his name is Rashid Carter. So shouts Rashid. I am gonna say his name. I'm gonna say his name because he opened the door for me. The door that he opened was it was actually in my mind. When I wrote the Sleeping in Heaven series, it is contemporary fiction. He said, "Yo, V, like this dude is cool enough with me to call me V versus Red, like other people in the literary industry." And he says, "Yo, V, you should write a nasty book." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "You should. You're cute, and people will buy it." And I was just like, okay. And I tried my hand, and I wrote Freakism. When I first wrote it, it was only 18,000 words, 80 pages, cost $1 to print, and so that's all it was with this little book. But it got such good reviews. Be it in the ear, in the inbox, whatever the case. But I know it's one that's still stuck up there on Amazon, and it compared me to Zane. And that was so amazing considering this is my first time ever in that genre. And since it got such good reviews, I pulled it and added to it. And I went from just this like flash fiction or short story or whatever it was, and I made it a novella. And we just kept pushing ever since.
I mean, you're very humble for your reputation, you're very humble. I do like that. I love it, actually. So, what fuels your story? What inspires your stories?
Life, life. I'm very inspired by life. I don't go out amongst a lot of people. So I'm home a lot and I don't deal a lot with a lot of people. So people that I do deal with, they're very comfortable telling me stuff. And once they tell me, I'm just kind of like, is it something I can spin? If it's something I can spin, I'm definitely writing about it. And as unfortunate as it is, and I don't know who said it, but I believe the quote was something to the effect of, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book.
Yes.
Okay, so I have several books telling folks business. And it's crazy because they don't even bother to read it. So they don't even know. But shouts to those people that come and bend my ear. I appreciate it.
You
So
know,
that's
it,
all life.
it never amazes me that I've done a lot of interviews with a lot of authors, and it comes. I always find the one. I always find one or two authors that always do the exact same thing that I do. 'Cause that's sort of how I aspire. Like, oh, really? Is that how? That's how it went down. Them up in the back.
Exactly.
They're not gonna read it anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So I just, hey, I write it and press on.
So see, that's one thing we have in common. I don't feel bad now though. Now
No,
I'm not alone in
good.
it, so I'm good.
Not so bad at all.
So my next question is, um, what do you value over your story, character or plot development? Which do you deal with more?
Um, it's really up in the air for me. All of my characters, every single character in every single book is based off of somebody that I know. And I do this way because it's easier for me to get into character. Old people used to say, I don't know where you're from, and I don't know if this is across the board or what, but or across the globe rather. But old people used to say, "Ooh, that's a character." And okay, so you're familiar. And back in the day, we weren't allowed to say lie or liar. You had to say telling a story or storytelling. And it all came back. I can remember telling on my siblings, and the first thing they say is, "She telling stories." So as far as character development and the story itself goes, my characters, I can relate to them all because I have literally seen each character, or I have spoken to them, or had some sort of involvement with them. So it flows.
Okay.
So I would say it would be equal. How about that? It's equal.
Awesome, awesome. So my next question for you is, since we now know where your story come from and everything, so at what point do you, I guess, at what point do you say, okay, got my characters, got my book. So how long does it normally take you to put all those elements together normally for you?
Honestly, it differs. I've written for several publishers where they had certain time ramifications for each project. I've also been a self-published author, as I am presently, and I do what I want when I want. Um, I have put out a three-part series in 90 days.
Wow.
Um, right. I did a book at one book 30 days, and I'm gonna tell you, Shannon Holmes. I heard him on an interview one night. Much, much, much respect to him. But he said one day, if you write one chapter a day, you'll have a book in a month. And
Right.
he said, you can write a sentence and you can write a paragraph. If you can write a paragraph, you can write a page. You can write a page, you can write a chapter. And that stuck. So whenever I'm working on anything, I at least try to write a sentence a day. So that way it's something. And if it's just one sentence, he said I can do a paragraph, so now I have to. So every day I don't have a clock in job, you know, 9 to 5 or whatever. I don't have that. So I can write like it doesn't matter. Let's get it. That's how I am. Let's get it. I have an awesome imagination. So it I can do it.
All right, now I want to play devil's advocate with you, right?
Okay.
Because, well, personally, I don't have a 9 to 5. I basically, this is my job, basically writing, editing, all this. But let's just say it wasn't. But just the writing part. All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I have two teenagers. I've got a wife. I got all this other stuff. I don't have time. I'm too busy trying to take care of this house because you know I just don't have time. What would you say to me?
You don't have time to what?
To write a sentence every day, to write a paragraph every day. I got too much going on.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let me tell you something. That's what everybody said. I don't have time. Yes, you do. There are 24 hours in a day. When you are sitting on your toilet Facebooking, you can go right over to notes. And the same thumbs you use to text, or the same thumbs you use to put a status on Facebook, buy my book, There you go, a sentence right there. Put it in that little note section. Um, let's say, okay, so you don't use the bathroom. You never use the bathroom. That's not a problem. And it's not a problem because you said amount of teenagers. They're they right. So you say, hey, cooking dinner, write this down for me real quick.
You
So
know,
no, it's always time. Take time for what they want. Even 24 hours, you will make time for what you want to do. You say you have two teenagers. I have four kids. I'm a single parent, one in college, one works, one school, and the other one is her. And so, oh, not to mention, I take care of my auntie who has Alzheimer's. Um, so no, it's time.
all right, but I want to. All right, so like I said, all that's gonna be edited up. But like I say, for all you people, like you just said, my cell phone, I see people write books all day on Facebook, and
You
then
know,
turn right around and say, I don't have time to write a book. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, you have nothing but time. Nothing but, and it's funny because this is a perfect example. This story that I'm working on right now, um, it's actually finished. I'm doing my read through before it goes to editing. But I was riding down the road, and this these thoughts, these voices, they were going so crazy that I literally had to pull over into the median because I couldn't concentrate on driving. And the thoughts that danced around in my head, I literally wrote them on a Zaxby's napkin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Zaxby's napkin. And I just brought my little napkin right on in the house with me and typed out what I had written. But I was literally in the median, emergency flashers, and this is what I'm doing because it had to come out. Now that's never happened before, but
Well,
it did happen.
well, see, what's funny about that is a lot of us, we get those voices all the time that we just have to stop and write them down so we don't forget them, or at least record them or something.
Something.
Because if you don't, you're gonna lose. You're gonna be mad at yourself. So again, like you said, there's always time for something, even if it's just writing notes. And
Yeah.
see, right now this interview is short, and right now there's no excuses. I mean, all you had was a Zaxby's napkin that you wrote everything on. A restaurant napkin. I mean, come on now. What's your excuse? I don't.
And I'm gonna tell you, I could have thumbed it out on my phone. I could have, but I like the way a pen writes on a napkin. I really do. So I wrote it on the napkin because I like the way the ink looks.
I'm going to change gears really quick and just ask you a personal question.
Okay.
Um, basically, when you were younger, or even now, did you always used to always go buy up a bunch of notebooks and you still write?
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I wasn't a writer. It's funny when you think about, like, as far as the past goes, or coming up through the ranks. I was the kid that forged everybody's mama's name for the school excuses so we can go skip school. That was the writing that I did. However, I was the editor of the ROTC newspaper, and I was that editor because honestly nobody else wanted the job. I wanted the job because it came with an officer rank, and I wanted to be a boss. So I was like, hey, I'll do it. And that's how it came about. But I look at it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Who would have thought it was priming me for this? So, but I didn't know. I've always wanted a restaurant. Being an author it was not on my to do list.
You never know what life can sometimes hit you with that curveball. It's like,
I look at it like a flight. I look at life like a flight. You could be flying, I'm in South Carolina. So let's say I'm going from South Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. It's a 4-hour drive. but I have to drive through Georgia and some of South Carolina to get there. Now, I take a flight. The flight I'm going to jump on, they might send me to Detroit and then send me to Atlanta. They might send me to California and then send me to Atlanta. So, you never know what you're going to have to bypass in order to get to your destination. I roll with it, man. If, like I said, I did this in school and now here I am now and I'm writing now, it's a passion now because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta write something. And now it's this story that I'm writing now is almost turned into an obsession because I have such high hopes for this story. And my hopes aren't even that high. It's just the fact that reality tells me it's going down.
It's funny. I know you're gonna get tired of me saying this, but this is more than likely why your reputation precedes you. I love your attitude. I love your drive. I love all of that. I mean, not a lot of people, especially who've been in as long as we have, can continue to keep a positive attitude about what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and I just love that.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell you, my son, this was the other day. I told my son, I said, "Oh my gosh, this book is gonna pop. It's gonna make numbers, baby. I'm telling you, we gonna get rich. We gonna get this and we gonna get that." And he's like, "Okay, mom." Now, mind you, he's the rapper, so he's in the industry as well, in the public eye. And he says to me, he says, "Mama, I don't want to steal your vibe. However, just in case this isn't the book that makes you famous, it could very well be the gateway to the one that will." And it touched me so much. Like there's nothing else to say after that. It's nothing else to say because, like I said, with this book at present, how I feel about it, how life is telling me it's gonna be. It's okay, but I'm not gonna speak the negative and say if because I haven't said. Um, oh, did I lose you? There you are.
Oh, yeah.
But it's gonna make some waves. I can't say anything. I'm inspired by life, and I'm sorry I do this, and now I'm pacing, and I'm pacing because I'm excited. You done started messing with my energy, and I get like this, so please forgive me. I'm a rocker, and every time I'm on the phone, like especially duo, I rock, and they stop rocking, stop rocking. So I didn't want to rock, so I got up. Now I'm pacing, but yeah, this story, since I'm so inspired by life happened and things came to me with this story. I don't know. I don't know what you know about me, but let me tell you, I have a chair. It's a little baby chair. The chair belonged to my great great grandmother, and my great great grandmother was born in 1868. So I have this chair. I'm looking at it. I'm sorry if you see me, over in the corner. I'm looking at this chair, and when I moved some furniture, we had to do our little sticky situations videos, and I moved up one chair in my house in front of my bookshelf so that when I sat here, this would be what you would see. How cool is that? So that was for that, and then I remembered the chair. I pulled this chair out, and when I pulled it out, I have been watching it and watching it, and things have been happening. It's such a powerful little chair. You wouldn't be able to understand what I mean without stepping into this door and feeling the energy that radiates from this chair. It's so amazing. I'm sorry, don't mind me. I'm very scatterbrained too. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Okay. All right. Before we go any further, and I'm not editing this part out. I'm just going to tell you something. Do not apologize for your vibe.
Yeah.
Do not apologize for your attitude. This is probably why you have a reputation that you have now.
I hope so.
But not only because of your books, but because of the author of the books, which is you.
Thank you.
And the way your son encouraged you, your fault, because you raised him. So basically, he's just as positive as you are. So
I was shocked. I was shocked that he said that, but I'm rolling with it. I thought it was so profound. I'm not claiming it. Like I said, I haven't said if one time. With this story, I use words like when because it's gonna happen. There is no if, there are no buts. It's this is what it is. And it's gonna be. And it's gonna touch you and you and you and you and you, everybody. This book is amazing. It's
yeah,
so amazing. It's so amazing that everything I've done with this book, it has been done proper. I have literally read it 4 times. I'm reading it now for the fifth, and I'm just double checking, making sure, because when the editor gets back to me, I would prefer that he or she did more reading than actually working.
see, but see, again, I have no doubts.
Thank you.
I have no doubts. Now,
Thank you.
I want to get into more of your work with you, but before I do that, we talked a little bit before I started recording about your reputation and any bad thing. I don't really want to get into the bad. I doubt that there's anything bad about you. I don't even want to even talk about that. I want to get to more positive.
You know what? I will. I can. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person at all. I'm probably one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I am very much a pushover because I like to see people happy. However, I get full. And just like anybody else, I'm no different from anybody else. My feelings get hurt, my buttons get pushed, and yeah, I'll fly off too. But 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 not until you take me there because like I'm super cool. I'm super laid back. I don't want no problems. I just want to write good books and have people recognize it. That's all.
See, that's one thing I love. That's one thing I love. I talked about this yesterday with some more books about people who want to just be angry and be, competitive and all this stuff in an industry where we all can get that.
We
I
can.
really don't, and just like Shamor was saying yesterday, we really don't understand why people aren't more unhappy with their craft. They want to worry about what you're writing and what she's writing and what you guys got going on. I don't get that.
You know, because of the competition factor. Those that are more concerned with the productivity of others because they think that it's a competition. That's also the same individual that's running a race, yet they're looking backwards. So, as far as I go, I don't care. You might have heard the saying, what I eat won't make you shit.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
I have.
yeah. So, do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. And hopefully, I see you at that table. If not, I don't mind pulling up a seat. I don't mind at all.
But see, my thing is, I want to see you win. I want to see everybody win. I want to see
Me
you win. I want
too.
us all to win.
Me too. And you know what? And for me to see you winning, it helps me out because it motivates me to know that if you can, I can. So I appreciate that. I've been in the literary industry for almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in December. I ain't brought home, $1 million checks, $1,000 checks. I was struggling for $100 checks. But, you know what I'm saying? It happened. And I'm not a national best-selling author. I know I can throw that on my book, but I opt not to because I'm not yet. It's coming. And when it does come, it's going to be well deserved. But when it does come, it's not going to be because I was looking back at what you were doing or what she was doing or what he was doing. It's coming because I stayed focused and I kept my eyes straight ahead. So that's it. My lane is super easy. Ain't no traffic over here.
See, I just truly don't understand why you are a single parent. You are just so awesome.
Thank
I,
you. I'm
I just,
a parent. I am a single parent because I found my worth, and I realized that it's just, there are going to be people that aren't going to like you. There are people that aren't going to love you. There are people that aren't going to value you. There are people that aren't going to respect you. And those, once I realize that I'm deserving of those adjectives, that's the reason why I'm a single parent. I will probably remain single for a very long time, if not the rest of my days.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, I don't see why. You know what? It is not you. It's not, I'll tell you that right now. It's not you.
It might be. It might. I'm
Oh,
very
no, no.
strong-willed, and I'm very, very, very determined. And you know, I have rules to life and all that good stuff. People don't want to follow them, and I totally understand. My life is a roller coaster. It is definitely a roller coaster. So if you're afraid of heights, don't get on. If you're afraid of lows, stay away. If you don't like turns, go over there. It that's that's my life, and I'm not really trying to change it because I think it's kind of fun. I wake up and don't know what to expect. I love it. So
Oh, I think I just lost you.
that's why I won't ever be able to maintain. I'm a drifter. I'm a drifter, and I like it.
Nothing wrong with being aggressive. Nothing wrong with that at all. Actually, I'm loving everything about you. You are so awesome. So,
Thank
so basically, how can we get to know you better? How can we buy your books? Where can we get to know Forever Ed?
I am on social media. I am forever, well, Vernetta Forever Red Odom on Facebook. Um, Red Rights 803 on, wait, red dot right. That's not. I think Red Rights 803 at on Instagram. Man, this is awful. This is the stuff I should know, and I don't.
I'll
Let me tell
find
you,
you.
it's so funny. Listen, it's so funny. Somebody told me. I said, "Oh my God, this is a Zoom interview. He's gonna see me." And so somebody says, "You better not worry about what you look like, and think about what's going to come out your mouth." And I said, "No, I interview good. I'm not worried about that." And then you ask me something so simple, and I don't know the answer.
So you already told me about your project, but what more is in the future? I know you got some more stuff in that head of you.
You know what I do? Like, it comes, and I tell people words are immortal. So even when we're dead and gone, they'll still be here. So it's the same with thoughts. And I don't want to say as long as I got my good mind, because that's debatable. But I'm going to say as long as I can formulate a sentence, I will continue to push my pen.
Well, before I get to my final question, I do want to say this. I want to say not only did I get more than what I bargained for, I mean, and I'm not even talking about you just an author and a good person. I mean, come on. I mean, you have talented children. I mean, you take care of your aunt. I mean,
Thank you.
and still coming on here smiling, and I mean everything. That is so beautiful. I just look. In other words, I love people with great attitudes. That's just
Thank
me.
you.
But no matter what's going on, I mean, the world could be burning outside, and you're still smiling.
Can I tell you something before you get to your final question?
Go ahead.
You heard the saying, I'm sure, and I got a bunch of sayings. Oh my God, I'm old and I'm country. So I have a billion sayings. That's going to be another story I'm going to write down the line. It's going to be a book. It's going to be called My Daddy Said. And, but anyway, so I know you've heard the saying, sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Yes.
Okay. Statistics show that you're less likely to commit suicide if you're smiling.
Hmm.
So I like to smile. I like to see people smile. I think that it's great. You never know how a kind gesture could possibly save somebody's life. That's how I see it. So, and it's so crazy because literally 8 minutes before I called into this Zoom, I was crying my eyes out. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me get myself together and get what I need to get done, because this ain't gonna happen. Not this way. So, here's my game face. I'm glad you like it, and I hope other people do too. I hope they like it so much that they're encouraged to go and buy a book, not just any old book, because I'm not pressing nobody about what's already there. I'm pressing them about the yet to come, because the book that I am referring to needs to be in the hands of every literate person across the globe. And that's how deep it is. I'm standing by it, and I'm putting all of that on it, everything on the line. Right now, I have in my possession the book.
Awesome. That is not a problem. Real quick, before I get to my last question, though. Where can we buy your current projects?
Amazon. You go on Amazon and you can forever read me. That's what you do. Go on Amazon, you can forever read me. It is forever read with 2 D's. The reason why that is because I would like to have everything I ever write to be forever read. I knew if I put READ, people would automatically assume read. I knew if I put RED, they would automatically assume color. And I put an extra D, so you would know it might just possibly be something else, but it's broken down enough for you to know that is read, no matter how you look at it.
Awesome. So I'm back to part of the show now where the final question, I give you the final word. Say whatever you want to say, give shout outs, advice, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, let me say thank you so much for your time, as well as the opportunity to come on and express myself. Greatly appreciate it. I have to send huge thanks and shouts out to Miss Julia. That's simply because she gave me an opportunity as well. And it was also another outlet to put my name somewhere so that somebody might be reading Shamora books or Allison Grace. They might be reading them and they just happen to thumb across Forever Read. So I appreciate Julia for allowing me to come into the project and introduce myself to some of her fans and some of her teammates' fans. As far as shout outs go, I have to scream from the top of my lungs, Diane Rimbert. I call her the Deacon. She is everything to me. She's had my back through thick and thin, and she continues to have it every day. I love her. She means so much to me. Oh my God, I'm going to get emotional. Also, Jonna Brown, Jonna B. She's an author. She's a creator. She's everything. I can honestly say that she did offer some of her penmanship in my story. She's greatly appreciated as well. So I appreciate her for her words as well as her ideas and the contributions that she did to make my story a huge success. And yes, I am claiming it. So I think that's it. As always, you can always look me up on Amazon. I am Forever Read. Now I am a Sticky Situations author, but I have other works as well. I write urban fiction, contemporary fiction, as well as erotica. The story that I'm going to beat y'all down with is neither of those. If you want to get into a Forever Read novel, then I strongly suggest you read The Devil's Mouth. Phenomenal. And that's all. Like I said, thank you so much for having me.
When the Author's Corner returns, we'll be back with Sandra Nicole talking about the lies she told and her contribution to Sticky Situations. October 19th is an all-new Author's Corner Science Fiction Special, Girl Power Edition. Yes, ladies can be nerds too, and these ladies have come together to talk about their noir vampire anthology, Slay. Then we talk about writing, science fiction, fantasy, and so much more in between. 5 ladies I call the Female Justice League. Join us as we talk to Penelope Flynn, Alicia McCullough, Michelle Tracy Berger, Samantha Brand, and all brought together by Nicole giving Kirsten a fun check. October 19th, It's an all-new Authors Corner Science Fiction edition with the authors of the vampire anthology Slate, right here on HD television. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless. What do you mean the lie she told me? Lies she told me. I'm gonna get that book, but it better not be about me. And I don't like people talking about me. Oh, you know what? Hey, you know what? No, you know what? Forget what I just said. That book ain't about me. That book is not about me at all. But it is the major book from Sandra Nicole. Welcome back to the show. man, why didn't y'all tell me I was on, man? It's like I don't want them talking about me. Then that book sounds a lot like me. No, that book don't sound a lot like me. Forget about that. So next we got author Sandra Nicole. She's an awesome writer. She knows a lot about the business of writing. I'm going to try to get with her as well as everyone else and try to do something collaborative with them because, like I say, Sandra is the business just like everyone else. She knows what she's talking about. But for you to know what I'm talking about, let's go to the interview. I'm going to finish finding out if this book is about me or not. So, you're an author, you're a consultant, you do a lot of things. You do a lot of marketing for authors, different things for authors. Let's start from the beginning. Author, what got you into writing?
Oh, wow. I've been writing since I was 8 years old, actually. And I entered a contest that was sponsored by Ebony Jet magazine. I don't know if you remember that magazine.
Yes, I do. Yes.
But they had a writing contest, and I entered that contest. And even though I didn't win, they sent me a letter, and the letter addressed me as writer. So I was like, oh, okay. So after that, I used to write little books in elementary school and publish them. And then in high school, I wrote this paper, and the teacher said, you should really consider getting this published. I'm like, really? So in college, my teacher told me that. So then after all this advice, I finally decided to publish books. And I've been publishing ever since.
Well, remind me to tell you a story later, because again,
Okay.
I'm going to let my audience know. This is show's been on to you. Never had this woman on. Now I'm finding the female version of myself. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
That is like so freaking awesome though, because you get so many. When you write well, people recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how did that feel coming up? That anything you wrote, people. I will give you this quite example, like real quick. I wrote a poem for somebody, for another friend of mine, who was trying to get a girl or whatever. He read the poem and he said, "Damn, this sounds like a soul jam." It's like so my ego kind of shot 100 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that feel when so many people compliment your work as you were coming up? How did that influence you?
Well, honestly, it didn't really have a lot of impact on me because I didn't really see what I did as anything like super special at the time. I just knew that I liked to tell stories. And so when people started to say, like, if I run into somebody in the store and they recognize me and they're like, you wrote that book. And I'm like, yeah, which book? So it didn't make me have like this big ego or anything like that. Most people would say, how are you so humble when you've written all these books? And I'm like, it's just me. It doesn't change me, that I've written books and things like that. So it feels nice for people to recognize your work, but it's just like I guess it's just a regular thing for me.
Awesome. So now, how do we get into publishing your first book? How do we get from wanting to be a writer to wanting to be an author?
Well, I decided to publish my first book actually after I graduated from high school. I went through this whole little phase. And, after listening to my high school teacher who said I should get the paper published, I went and I sent out all these query letters to different agents and different publishing companies, and they all rejected me. So I'm like, does that mean I can't write? Or, So then in college, that's when I finally learned about self-publishing. And that's kind of what like catapulted my whole career, was when I self-published my book.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now tell me about some of your titles.
Well, my very first book that I published was called No More Drama. That's what it was called. And it was about a lady who was married to this man. She was a wealthy lady. She had all this money, but she felt neglected in her marriage. So she ended up cheating with this guy out of prison. And, he almost killed her and all that stuff. And it was loosely based on things that I had saw on TV at the time. And so, but I republished that book later, and I called it Foolish. And when I rewrote it, I actually added some pieces to my own life in the story, because I had married a guy that was an ex-convict. So I kind of like intermingled some of my own real life stuff into it the second when I came out with it again. So many people could relate to it when I redid the book. And yeah, that first experience was something, it was built on some crazy stuff, but yeah. So that's kind of how it all got started.
Okay, awesome. So what about some of your others? I love that, by the way. I think I actually met that. This is why I need to talk to you. I think I didn't read the reprint, but I did read the first one. So yeah, that's tell me more of your titles.
The most popular titles that I have out now is a series called Big Girls on Fleek. And it's about these three, what they call BBWs. They are, trying to find love and happiness and success in their life. But they have all this drama. Like the one, she wants to be this hairdresser with salons all over the city, but she also has a fiance who wants to get married and have kids. And she's concerned about her shape because, she's one of those ladies that has like a shape but a flat stomach. So she wants to keep that part of her small. And her other friend, she is like a nurse assistant. And she likes the fact that she can help people, but she doesn't like the work that she's doing. So it's kind of like, her trying to find herself. And then the other girl is a stripper. Well, lady is a stripper. And so she goes from just being like a regular stripper to really having a lot of money and all this stuff. And she, it kind of goes to her head. But that's the most popular series. And then I have another title that people seem to really like, and that one is called The Lies He Told Me. And that's actually two stories combined. It's about two sets of women, younger women, who get involved with these guys who, one of them, the first story, the girl gets involved with this college guy, and he has a history that she doesn't see coming. I'll just put it like that. And then the second story in that book, the guy is trying to use the young girl to get back at his girlfriend. So, yeah. So a lot of people like that story too, that series.
I love that
so
story.
The most popular ones.
I love that. You like creating the drama, so you fix the drama. I love that. It's like so freaking awesome. So from there on, you branched out. So now that you're an author, how did you branch out into what are some of the other things that you're involved in?
Well, besides writing books, I also do poetry. And I've been getting back into, doing spoken word and stuff. And then, of course, I do consulting for people who either want to write and publish their own books or who want to go through the self-publishing process. And that's something I've been doing since 2002. So, yeah, that's the other things I do.
Awesome, because I actually will have a lot of people that will come to me and say, well, how do you write a book? There are a lot of things. I guess by the time they decide they want to, I'm already editing and things like that for them. But I think now I actually need to send them to you first. Because, well, seriously, in consulting, what exactly you do? Because see, I guess I don't have a lot of time to consult. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so by the time a client comes to me, they've already made their mind up. So,
Yeah.
so
See, what I do is I help them get the direction first, because most authors, when they publish a book, they haven't really thought about who the book is written for. So they have no idea who the audience is for the book. So they don't know how to market it. And what they don't understand is if they don't know how to market the book, they're not going to see the kind of sales they want to see. So that's the first thing we focus on, is that. Then we focus on we look at what's the overall goal they have for the book. You know, some people don't even want to make any money with their books. They just want to publish them. So, you know, we have to figure that out. So, yeah, I take them and kind of get them a strategy together first. And then we go through the actual publishing process.
okay, devil's advocate for a second. I'm not an author. Right. I want to make $1 million on my books.
Okay.
So what you gonna do for me?
Well, if you want to make $1 million with your books, you first have to know who your audience is and what kind of path do you want to take to get
Ain't that
there.
what I hired you
Because,
for? Did I hire you for that? Let me know my audience is.
well, you still got to know who you're writing that book for. I'm just going to help you find them. Put it like that. So I will help you find them first. And then we will get in front of that audience so you can make your $1 million with your books.
Yeah, I like that because see, and I'm only I'm maybe explain, but yeah, I like that because of the fact that you will give them the real. You won't sit up here and BS nobody.
Mm-hmm.
As, hey, you want to do this? It takes work. This is the type of work you got to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
so once you confront them with that work, if they still want to do it, that's how you move forward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because most authors, I don't know why, but they think there's no work involved. They just think I'm going to write this book and everybody's going to buy it and I'm going to be rich. No, you have a lot of work to do. Once you decide that you want to be serious with being an author, now the work is getting in front of those people that's going to buy your book, or, you know, buy your course that you create from your book, or, you know, you got your work cut out for you.
Exactly. I really like what you do as far as that because again, like I say, if someone really wants, it also weeds out who is really serious about writing a book and who's not. Because do you ever get any people that say they want to write a book, but then they turn around and change their mind? It's not for me. I'm going to do something else.
I get that all the time. You know, that's kind of the reason why I started creating stuff, kind of like screening tools, so that you can see who's serious and who's not. Because a lot of people will waste your time. And doing this, as long as I have, you kind of learn the red sign, what is it? I
Red
can't think of the
flag.
word right now.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flags. That's what it is. You start to see that after a while, and you know, okay, this person's not serious, so on to the next person. You know.
Exactly. Now, you know what's really strange is you get that person that really does want to write, but they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it, but they want to come back to you. What do you do for that really scared author who wants to get the work out there, but scared to share it, and they don't know who the audience is, scared of actually the audience? What do you do for them?
That's funny because I actually had a client like that recently. The first thing we have to work on would be their confidence, because a lot of times the reason why they feel like they're scared is because their confidence level needs to be elevated. And sometimes we don't realize that we have these little things that keep us from really doing what we really want to do. So you have to deal with that inner stuff first. Like sometimes it could be something that you may have been hearing your whole life. Like people may have been telling you, oh, don't write that book. Nobody want to read it and stuff like that. So we have to get down to the root of what's causing you to be afraid. And then once we deal with that, now we can write the book because you've dealt with that inner stuff.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to just go on the side for a second. Did anyone ever told you that growing up? 'Cause I want to make a point. Who
Yes.
told you that?
Yes, I actually had a college advisor tell me that if I chose to write books for a living, that I would be broke and struggling and I would never be successful and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, I was told that.
Years later, you're on my show.
Mm-hmm.
But no, but I guess if you hear that all your life, and then I finally come to you and say, I'm taking a chance. People told me this. You know, I guess it gets kind of, how hard is it for you to get that stigma out of their head?
Ooh, some people, it takes a good 30 days at least just to get through that part. And then after that, it probably take a few more weeks for them to finally get into that writing mojo in order for them to get into that. But it usually takes about a month for them to really get over that.
I'll give you another question out of an example. I have a client now who I also do publishing myself. I have
Mm-hmm.
a client who actually just came through after almost being scammed by
Really?
the publisher wanted $8,000 to publish books in which you and I could do that for either half the price or for either and not even half the price.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
Yeah.
stuff she's getting are actually free services.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what do you get off of the person that comes to you after being scammed?
Well, if they've been scammed, first of all, sometimes in myself, I get a little upset with them because I'm like, why didn't they do their research first? I always wonder that. Why don't they do their research first? And then sometimes they'll get scammed by those people and then they'll come and want me to help them, but they think I'm going to do it for free. No, I don't work for free. So I let them know I will help you fix the problem, but this is how much it's going to cost. I always tell them that up front because a lot of them will come to me with the sob stories like, I went to this company, I paid them $8,000, I don't have any more money. Well, I can't help you. If you paid them $8,000, so you would have to pay me to fix it. So that's just how it is.
And Barbie Word, thank God I called her before. Well, actually, her grandmother, it was her grandmother that helped, that they called me. I knew her grandmother. Fortunately, we called her before she was able to pay that money. But
Mm-hmm.
it would have been just so bad if she would have paid so much money and then still didn't get what she got. So, look,
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of help. Well, you see, I get you're awesome in our work. The problem is you get a lot of new authors out there. Actually, you get a lot of seasoned authors out there. You get a lot of seasoned authors who come to you.
You said what?
You get a lot of seasoned authors that come to you.
Seasoned authors?
Yeah, people, experienced authors.
Yeah, there was one who came and she was in a contract with this big publisher and she wanted to know how could she get her rights back to her book. And so I told her what she had to do in order to get her rights back. And when she saw the process, she was kind of like, I don't want to do it. I don't want my rights back. And then another one said that they were going to stay with their publisher because they didn't want to be responsible for marketing their books. And I said, it doesn't matter who you publish with, whether you publish on your own or with somebody else, you still have to know how to market. And they were like, well, they pay for all my marketing, so I don't want to do it. I'm just going to stay with the publisher. So I'm like, okay.
All right, so we're going to get real, seriously real for a second. That Canada took me off this a little bit. You have a baby. You want to take care, you feed your baby, you nurse your baby, you make sure your baby grows up. Your books are also your baby.
Mm-hmm.
You have a baby, it's almost like letting the babysitter or the nanny raise your child.
Mm-hmm.
You think you hear that? I mean, seriously, they would actually rather let the publisher handle their baby. Now,
Yes.
If they do, fine, but I want to be part of the process. What can I?
Right.
I want to go to signings. I want to get out there. I want to, like your shirt said, I want to hustle. I want to hand out business cards, stuff like that. Why? Explain to me why that is. Do you think that they don't want to do that type of work?
Well, to me, and I've had people get upset with me too about this, but I think it's because some authors are lazy and they don't
Yes.
want to do the work. It's like they think that all of this success is just going to fall in their lap. And they figure that if the publisher is doing everything, then they can just sit over here and write books. But it's not going to happen. It's just not. No matter, because I've been traditionally published too. And with the traditional publisher, we still had a level of marketing that we had to do because they only did so much. Like they had a budget to promote your book when it first came out. After that, you were responsible for promoting your book and keeping it on the charts. If you didn't promote it and it fell off the charts, it was your fault. So they're lazy. That's the truth.
Wow. Because again, like I said, your books are your children too.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't do this to your actual children, so why do this to your books? I don't understand that.
Or either they're lazy or they don't really consider what they have to be important. They don't consider it to be their product or their, as you say, their child. They don't see it as something important. They just see, oh, I wrote this book and I'll just put it up there. And if it sells, it sells. If not, oh, well. So.
Between my books and this show and everything that I do, I try to you got to keep yourself out there. You got to keep your name out there.
You do.
I mean, well, I'm just glad you're out there reminding them of that. So, because, I mean, hell, that's disheartening, seriously. If there are authors out there who, I mean, seriously. I mean,
yeah. Because you'll become irrelevant really quickly. If you stop, I had it happen to me with my books. The minute I stopped promoting my work and putting it out there, people forgot about me. So I had to keep reminding them hey, I'm here, I write, and you find yourself having to rebuild your audience. If you take a break, you have to rebuild your audience all over again. And that's a lot of work. Like one time I built my mailing list up to a nice number. I had all these people on my list for who were interested in my books. And then I took a break and I stopped putting out books. I stopped talking about my books and all of that stuff. And next thing I know, my sales dropped. People were getting off my mailing list and all that stuff. I'm like, oh no, what'd I do? So then when I put out another book and I started promoting it again, and I put my name back out there, and then now people are, they start back to reading my books, they start back to joining my mailing list again. But if you take a break, it's pretty much over until you get back in the spotlight again.
Well, I'll ask you this question. I'm very serious about this question. Have you ever been dead before?
Dead?
Let me explain real quick. Trust me, when you drunk, I guess. But last year, let's just say without going deep, last year I went through some stuff last year, and I was still getting myself out there, but I wasn't able to market like I wanted to. But one of the Walmarts I went to, I saw one of my older books there, and one of the ladies there who worked there recognized me and said, "You ain't some Campbell, aren't you?" Like, yeah. Wow, you ain't got no more books. I thought you died. You didn't no more books. Like, oh. You don't know how much of an ego drop that was.
Oh my goodness, no! I've never been dead before, but I have been forgotten about. So I guess you can say my career was dead for a moment. But no, they never thought I was dead. That would be kind of scary.
Extremely scary. I hurried up and got a new book. So what else does your company
Well, we also do a lot of blogging because, blogging for me is what opened up the door for me to be able to work with other people with publishing their books and, all that kind of stuff. So we help them with the blogging strategy, help them promote their books, and we also help them create courses, because a lot of people take e-courses now where they can, go on the internet and do all that. So we help them take their book and find the subject of the book and turn that subject into a course. So that's some of the other stuff that I do too.
I like that. I love that. So you do all this. So do you do blog tours? Do you work for blog tours and things like that?
I actually been in contact with a few people who were interested in putting them together for my clients, but I haven't personally hosted one for somebody just yet.
Okay. Awesome. So you do all this. It's like you doing all this and everything. What do you do when you're not working in saving the literary world?
When I'm not in the literary world, I'm running around doing stuff with my kids.
Yes.
And shoot, I'm always doing something literary though. I mean, it's either poetry focused or working on a book or a blog or something like that. So it's like I'm always consumed with the literary industry. So.
And, okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. When I say you're the female version of me, I'm tired of doing these interviews. I told Marlon McCluskey this the other day. Because he's also a version of us too. Like I'm tired of doing these interviews where it seems like I'm talking to myself the whole time.
Oh.
Between you being consumed with the literary world, between you got a million hustles in the literary world, between it just seems like, wow, we need our own Justice League or something. It's like
We do.
I'm dead serious. We really do, because there's so much in the literary world, and we're all involved with so much stuff. So, do you have anything that you haven't done that you want to do?
Wow, anything I haven't done that I want to do. The only thing I think I want to really focus on is I do want to start like a podcast. I tried to do one a couple years ago, and I didn't know it involved so much work. But that's something I do want to get back into. I used to actually have a radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and I interviewed artists and authors and all those kind of people. But after a while, I kind of I think I got bored with it. So I kind of took a break from it. But people have been coming asking me like, what happened to your show? And I'm like, you still listen to it? So, but I think that's something I would like to do. And then I think I want to travel more. Like, it's still a lot of places I haven't seen yet. And I would love to see. Like, I haven't been to Hawaii. I would love to see what Hawaii looks like. And yeah, just different places. Because a lot of people don't believe me being an author when I say the first time I got on a plane was this year. And they were like, what? You've never been on a plane before? No, it was my first time being on one. And I was like, I've been missing out on so much stuff because I'm used to driving places. So to get on the plane and go, it was like totally different. So I do want to travel more. That's something I really want to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, I love that. So, yeah, like I say, traveling is awesome. Don't just freaking travel ban gets lifted. Try to go as many places as you can.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Mm-hmm. So my next question is, how can we get to know you? How can we buy your books? How can we get your services? Well, how can we do that?
Well, my central hub is SandraNPeoples.com. That's where they can go and find out about the publishing services that I offer. They can find out my blog is there. To go directly to the blog, they can go to SandraNPeoples.com/blog. And that's where I talk about book marketing and all of that kind of stuff. And then on social media, they can find me on Facebook. Facebook.com/Sandra P. That's the best way to find me. And then I'm on all the social media outlets. If they just put in Sandra N. Peoples, that's all my stuff now. I haven't did a lot of stuff with Sandra Nicole yet because, it's kind of like transition.
Right.
But yeah, that's how they can find me. And then all of my books are on Amazon. They can go to amazon.com/author/Sandra Nicole, and that's how they can find my books.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now my final question is, I always give my authors the final word, their advice, shout outs, things like that. The floor is yours.
Wow. Well, I do want to shout out Julia Press Simmons. She is so awesome. And like we were a part of her Sticky Situations anthology series. I think it's 3 of them so far. And she just does so much. I didn't know she did so much until I think this last book, when she was putting all of this event together that she just recently did. She is so awesome. Let's see, who else? Oh, I have to shout you out too for having me on your show.
Thank you.
It's been a long time since. I think I remember when we had our first conversation. It was like years ago.
Yes.
Years ago, yeah.
We've been on Facebook a long time together. So
yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just grateful, for any opportunity to talk and share about my stories and, the stuff that I do. That's it.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
And you can pick up The Lies He Told from your favorite bookstore, mainly Amazon, or anywhere else the book is sold. I mean, like I say, Sandra Nicole is so awesome. So when we come back, we're going to have a preview of next week's show. Oh no, the Sticky Situation Special is not over with yet, people. So we got a lot more coming.
Do you need editing and formatting services for your manuscript or document? Go to HD Campbell Productions, who will offer professional services and reasonable prices. For more information, call HD Campbell at 314-265-9169, or you can send him an email at hdcampbell3@msn.com. Let HD Campbell be your editor. As always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
Stay tuned next week when we have 2 more amazing authors from the Sticky Situation Special. We're going to talk to Shabor about her books, her writing. I mean, we get really personal about the writing industry, things like that. Then we'll talk to Allison Grace. We're not only going to also talk about writing and my sticky books and everything, but we even get a cameo from Julia Press Simmons. I mean, those 2 ladies, Allison Grace and Julia Press Simmons, have put together as something amazing. And I was impressed with it. I fell in love with it. So, I mean, you need to pick up Sticky Situation 4. I mean, like I say, it'll be out Black Friday. There's still time if you want to submit to the anthology. It's submissions at mystickiebooks.com. I mean, it's so much you can do. These ladies, support these ladies, man, because these ladies are on it. They write great stories, and they support other authors, so please support them. So, but that's it. Stay tuned again. This isn't over with. Oh, I ain't done with these ladies yet. I'm taking on 2 more ladies next week. That's right. Yep. Just call me Gigolo. There you go. Taking on 2 more ladies next week. So, that's my sticky situation. So, without further ado, peace, the sticky hair grease, and as always, let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless. To be part of the next anthology, go to submissions at mystickybooks.com. There are rules on how to submit your story, and deadline is November 1st. So, mystickybooks.com, go to submissions.